Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. If you're new, make sure to smash that subscribe and hit that like button if you found some useful content. Also, this tutorial is going to be based on the new Bagapie geometry nodes add-on you can get at the Blender market. I made everything here 100% procedural with nothing but the geometry nodes add-on. So, all of that being said, I'm going to take you through all of the major features and we'll check it out so you can see what's going on with that add-on. Now, on another note, I've got a 16+ hour tutorial for beginners to intermediate, and it's only 51 cents on the Blender market. That was just as cheap as I could make it. I tried to make it free, but they wouldn't let me make it free. So go check that out if you know somebody that needs a beginner's tutorial. What it'll do is bring you up to speed on everything inside of Blender, the whole interface, and some intermediate to somewhat advanced geometry nodes tutorials, and get anybody who wants to get up to speed and have a nice slow pace structured tutorial that's just going to take you through, then go jump on that. Link will be in the description. You can also click it on my banner. Alright guys, let's jump right in and do some practice. Alright, so if you come over to the Bagapie on Blender Market, it's really just this simple. You just type in Bagapie. It's absolutely free. If you wanted to get all the extras that come with it, then you can pay for it. I'll let you know, this literally is a studio in one setup. It's everything. And the geometry nodes, the accuracy of everything, we're going to go over that real quick. It's intense, and you can effectively do just about anything with this one add-on. It is insane. So yeah, like I'm doing this scene from the Matrix Resurrection thing, and I've got a thing like this. This is from the Matrix Resurrections, and I was really inspired when I saw this dojo. All the different scenery leading up, and surprisingly, it's not that hard to make. So, some texturing to do, like quite a bit, but the cool thing is once you get to that point and you're going to do some materials and things like that, you will see that on the like the staircase, you've got material slots for everything, so you can add it. And then I've got material slot for the wall as well, and then all these different modifications. So without further delay, let's build something. Alright, so all you gotta do is get that add-on, go to your preferences, go to the add-ons, go to install, and then go to your downloads. And then you'll find the Bagapie modifier, click install add-on. I'm using version 3.4 and it works great. That is Blender 3.4. And so it's working really well. So it seems like if you have to put in something like a plane, I'll kind of like scale it up a little bit. I'm going to apply that scale. And now all you really have to do, if you can come down here and click on the Baggy, you'll see that they have YouTube tutorials. But I really don't think you need tutorials. You could almost play. It's so easy. You could almost just play with this thing. I haven't done the tutorials yet. But if you just jump right in, you can hit J. Okay, let me actually bring that menu over here. Alright, so you've got displace, you've got instance displaces, deform. You can create arrays with a line, a grid, circle, and a curve. You can actually create proxies. You can save the assets, materials, groups. You can do booleans. You can do scattering, paint scattering, which I haven't done that yet. It's probably dynamic paint. And so you've got point snap instances, and I've gone through a lot of the architecture already and the scattering, and I've gone through the arrays and things like that in the displace and deform, and I haven't really done much with the materials yet. However, all you have to do is select something, and if you want, you can put in a column, right? And you think, well, this really isn't a big deal. But if you come over to the geometry nodes workspace, well, you now have the ability to change this from from square around instantaneously. You could change the resolution, And these are all those things that you had to be so careful to do with that little drop box down here. I'm not putting the cylinders and things in here unless it's going to be some little custom hard surface that I'm making. But then again, you can still start it with this. You can realize the instances on a lot of these. And so I'll jump over and do the spiral staircase, which really is quickly becoming one of my favorite aspects next to scattering. And be that as it may, because I absolutely love to scatter objects. Okay, so in the geometry nodes, like modifier tab, okay, and in the end panel, you're going to have a number of features you can work with. All right, so first thing you can do is you can change the height of this, and it's geometry nodes based, right? So if you like the way this looks, you can change the column radius. You can change the step height, which is incredible. The rotation, so you can add a bunch more loops to this, then increase the height and modify this in a ton of ways. Now the step thickness can be worked with. Now for the handrails, you can actually do the handrails as well and change the height of those. The offset just a little bit if you wish. And then the baluster distance, if you will, and the resolution. Then you can change the radius of the handrails. Probably leave those kind of like default unless you're doing something crazy. And then the overall profile resolution can be changed. Now if you come over here, you'll have a bunch of other options. You can change individual pieces here in the properties add-on panel. And so I've gone through pretty much everything because I was making my scene. And it's one of those things you're going to just have to kind of get in there and dig through it. Now I'm just going to use Blender Kit real quick. And I'm going to pull up a... Let's see. We can pull up like a low poly grass just for now. And then I'll get like this little low poly patch. I think I like this one better. And I'll put that down on my plane. Alright, so now let me go ahead and clean this screen up a little bit. I'll actually hide the plane. I'll grab the empty. I'll delete it because I don't want to instance that. I'm just going to hide the staircase, grab the grass, hit Control J, join it, and make it into one. And let's see if I got it all. There's a couple pieces left there. It's all right. We don't need all of those. So what I'm going to do, and I'll hit Alt-H and just bring everything back. Grab the grass and bring it back out as well. So grab the object you're scattering, which will be the grass, then shift right click the where you want to scatter the objects and hit J to pull up the Bagapie, and then just click scatter. And now you can change all of this as well, and you can weight paint it to your liking. You can also make this into a proxy instance, if you will, and that will definitely help you in the viewport. So when you bring up the density max to something kind of crazy, and I always like to put it to like 5,000 if I'm going to be going with instances like this, probably a little bit more even, just to get the grass nice and thick, and then you could render out something like that. Now remember, that is a plane, and if you're going to scatter with weight, you're going to first have to go in and go into edit mode, and you'll have to grab a W and subdivide, and then hit Shift R a few times, or you can pick up the subdivision menu here and put in something like 15, 20, 30, something like that, and just bring those subdivisions up. And you can barely see it because I've got the proxies there, but what you could do, oh yeah, and you can turn this off in the viewport so you can see what you're doing. So it's very well set up, and it's not only end panel for most, if not all of it, but you also have a lot of features over here for some of the other ones. All right, great. So now you could go back over into object mode and then Control Tab and go into weight paint. Make sure your strength is up and you could start painting. I'll turn this back on so you can see it. and it's actually inverted by default, so don't let that fool you. All you really have to do is come over and click on the invert paint, and now you can actually go back in and start painting that. And you can also just clear that paint. Now you can add layers, and down here at the bottom, if you scroll all the way down, you'll have a ton of other options for positions, scale, so on. And then you've got a tutorial for that built right in. Now I'm just going to move the 3D cursor out a little bit, and I'm going to drop in the famed Suzanne. I'll make sure the Suzanne is highlighted. I'll hit J, and then from here what we can do is we can create a small array, and we'll just put this in line, pull it up, and obviously it works the same way. You can have your count, and all of the offsets and the rotations and everything here are all preset for you, so you can move this around as you see fit. You can also change the seed value and a number of other cool options. So I'll just click off of that. I'm going to hit J, and this time I'll put it in a grid. And this could be useful for a lot of different purposes. If you're lining things up in a scene, perhaps power poles and a number of different things, you'll get a few different modification boxes that pop up, but this is going to likely be more than enough here. And then you can change random scales and a lot of cool features. Now, one of my favorite ways to array is circular. So I'll just hit J, click circle, and here we go. Now you have a ton of features here, things you would kind of expect, like you can change the radius, you can change the distance to make them not clip, you can change the ring count, and do a number of different things that are really kind of just all packed in. And if you want, you can also come over and check it out under the Geometry Nodes editor and kind of see the work that you saved yourself simply by using the add-on. So if I change the ring count here, there are some modifications happening inside of the Geometry Nodes themselves. Now there's another really cool feature in here, like all of them, and that one is you can just put in a procedural Geometry Nodes based floor. Now this one gets pretty cool, because what you can do is you can change every aspect of this on the X, Y, and Z. You can change the count, you can change the offset to make that kind of catch the shadows in your scene and some different things. And of course, these can be tiled out, and for probably one of my top favorites here, I'll just Shift A and drop in a cube, and go ahead and cut a boolean and Shift right click, Control minus, and I can actually go in, and Bagapie has actually taken over my cube entirely. And I now have the ability to create bevels and just kind of form this up and add all of these segments. I've got the boolean here where I can change everything. I'll go ahead and apply all that and just remove it. Hide this, go into edit mode, grab that face, hit X, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that face. Now this is where it gets a little bit more fun. I'll take on the top view with this selected in object mode, and I'll hit J, and I'm going to click on window. And so now I'll probably have to come out just a little bit and grab the corner here. There we go. And now I can bring this up just a little bit on the Z, and voila, I've got a window. So I'll go back into object mode and kind of move that down in. And it's added a whole slew of modifiers for you to work with, so you can bevel in that window and get it looking wonderful. And that is it for the tutorial, guys. Go ahead and search through this thing. Remember, all you have to do is hit J with any object selected, and you can go through. This thing is ever growing. It's absolutely free. I would suggest giving the guy like $5 or something for this, man. This is going to revolutionize what everybody's doing. You know, I know everyone's into Geometry Nodes by now, and if you are not, then welcome to the family. Make sure to smash that subscribe and that like button, helps out the channel. And don't forget, guys, I've got a free beginner's tutorial. It's like 16 plus hours. I put it on the Blender Market. It's 51 cents because that's the lowest price I could put it. So you can grab that or tell somebody about it if they're looking for a almost free Blender tutorial for beginners, and it'll take them through all the interface and major features and workspaces so they can kind of get up to speed. You know, that way when you pick up an add-on like this, you can just hit the ground running. And there are some more advanced geometry nodes courses in it that are probably considered more along the intermediate level to most people, but for beginners, you know, it's a good thing to get there, something to chew on when you first start in 3D. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next tutorial lesson.